So you have reached Laurel from tarotheaven.com, and this is my YouTube series on the tarot as people or personalities. This is commonly called a signifier or a significator in a reading, and I like to use an entire deck for significators. So I don't just like to rely on core cards. I find it too narrow when there's so much life in every 78 card. So it can be also used to answer that exoteric question that many of us have, and it is, what does he or she think of me? So let's start. Today we are going to discuss the Hermit and what it means to be the Hermit as a person. So some keywords really: meticulous, organized, wise or wise sage, wisdom, solitary. That's a big one, right? That should be no surprise to anyone. Medical or scientific field, an adept, a master, memory, and I think competency. I think those are all really good keywords. The Hermit is ruled by Virgo. And, Virgo is a very organized sign, supposedly. So he's ruled by Virgo, and the exaltation is Mercury. Mercury shares Gemini. And I just want to throw this out there quickly, but Chiron is a planetoid, which is a planet asteroid, that was found in 1977. And I think that Virgo is probably the true ruler of Chiron. So in any case, we still need to use the attributions which we use now, because we're dealing with mass consciousness. So Mercury, Virgo or Mercury, this card does not have an exaltation, which is why I think is another good reason why Chiron should rule Virgo. But also, since it has no exaltation, it makes me think that this person is superior, not in a negative way, not in a domination way, but they're an adept. They're wise beyond their years. It's almost as if they've come from the future to help set a path for other people to follow. So similar to Jesus, or how Jesus was seen as a little weird, and I guess he created a path that people are still following thousands of years later. There are other prophets out there as well who people follow. Moses, Muhammad. So it's a very similar. You could call the Hermit the Jesus of today. Not to offend any Christians. This person is an adept at what they do. And it's usually, surprisingly, it's in the medical or scientific field. And this is because occultists have known for a very long time what all this science stuff is about. Alchemy, for instance, came before chemistry. So, we're just discovering things now, like dark matter and all these things that occultists or old souls that perhaps come from the future, or what you think is the future, it's really a big spiral. But they come and they're showing you, oh, okay, was this the math you have? okay, is this the science you have? Let me prove this old occult maxim. And that's why I attribute the hermit to a scientific or medical career. And I've seen it come up in readings before for people. Also, people in the medical or science career, they work alone a lot. You know, we have a big research facility here where I live, and a lot of people just work alone in a lab watching things grow. In the science field, you know, that you can work alone. And the hermit works really well alone. They don't feel lonely, and they don't feel lonely because they're connected to that one higher source. I don't think, if you're extremely in tune with who the hermit is, say it's your personality card, or if you add up all the numbers in your birthday and you come up with a 9, right? You probably, or you possibly feel that your soul is not individualistic. And this is the hermit. He does not feel that he's an individual. He understands that he's connected to this higher sort of vast network of cosmicness, and that we're all connected. Everything is unbelievably connected in this beautiful way. And so that's why he never feels lonely, because he feels one with the universe, which is a wonderful way to live your life. Some people like to rejuvenate around other people, but the hermit personality, she would probably rather go to her summer house or beach house or mountain house and relax and rejuvenate. If you don't have a summer house, you could rent a hotel room or whatever. That's what I do. So the hermit is a very good money saver. They're not opulent. They're usually not very flashy. So they do save money a lot. You know, they aren't going to go out and buy a $70,000 car, and they're not going to spend all their money on Chanel just to impress somebody. That's not who they are. And, you know, that's who strength is. But they are the type of person who can live very simply, and they enjoy living simply. They find so much joy in just the little things in life. And it is the type of person where when they die, no one knew that dear Uncle Jimmy had $5 million saved because he was so low-key about it, right? So he could make a lot of money, and it would depend on surrounding cards. We don't, it's not necessarily, some cards don't denote whether or not someone has a lot of money or not, like the 10 of Pentacles or something. In love, the Hermit is not the best card to get. But as a person, the Hermit is really willing to wait for the right person. They're not going to, an arranged marriage would not go over, they would say no to that. I mean, we still, unfortunately, live in a world where maybe it's not arranged, but suggested in some cultures, even in the United States. This person would not do that. They would wait for the right person, and they would want to find their ideal match, which sometimes it takes a while to find the right person for you, right? Because sometimes you have to figure out who you are first. And that's who the Hermit is. She or he is going to find out their true self and then mate with someone that they feel is their perfect self. Sex and love for the Hermit would go together. It would not be separate. That would definitely, a hermit person wouldn't be able to have love without sex. Sex without love. Just couldn't do it. So another word about past lives. Again, I said something about coming from the future, or what we would think was the future, but really the hermit is somebody who's way ahead of their times. And they've most likely lived in every possible conceivable place on Earth and in other solar systems and galaxies. I used to tell my mom and dad that I used to live on Neptune, and I call it the big watery planet. And I would tell people that I used to live on Neptune, and people, oh, you're a kid, you don't know. And I just kept saying it, the watery planet. And they were like, Earth is the blue watery planet. I was like, no, this is a watery planet, but it's like a liquid, it's a different type of liquid that almost expands and contracts, and you can expand and contract. I don't know. So anyway, no one really considered my ramblings. And then I read, 2000, something like that Neptune is, it's a watery planet. It's not gaseous like they had thought. So there's a lot that we're discovering that occultists have known all along. And that's who the hermit is. They're an occultist, they're an adept, they're a master. They've spent a gazillion lifetimes on every different planet. They have little rest in the astral world before coming back to Earth. And I find the Hermit a mighty interesting card. I know that it is not a favorite card among many people, but I think if we look past the old man alone on a hill, I think we can see some real beauty to that. I mean, I've known so many people who have died in the last 3 years. Well, 2 years, 5 people died, all under the age of 40. And now I wake up and I think, I'm so happy to be alive. And I hope that one day you and I are old and wise and on the top of that summit, because there's nothing better than getting older. It just means you're still here and you're still alive and we can still feel things. So life is to be treasured in every moment. And that is my infinite wisdom that I will leave you with, my lovelies. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope this was insightful for you. And like always, you can visit tarotheaven.com and read all about my tarot musings. Thank you so much.